Wayne Cleveland, welcome to Coffee Chats.
Mate, hey, Matt, thanks for having me, mate. It's an absolute pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show today. Mate, so much to talk to you about, so many different chapters to your little thing called life, but let's go straight back to school days. What was life like for a younger Wayne Cleveland at school?
Mate, you know what, to be honest, I did struggle a little bit at school. I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, as they say, mate, to be honest. So I really did struggle in that aspect, mate. And, you know, when you struggle like that, I got in a lot of trouble because I was always up to no good because I didn't really grasp a lot of what they were saying to me. Now I understand the big picture, obviously as you're older. But yeah, mate, I struggled at school and I did get in a lot of trouble, mate.
You went on to become quite a talented surfer. I'm assuming you spent more time on the beaches of Maroubra than doing your schoolwork.
Yeah, mate. It's funny you say that. Our school was like literally one block from the beach, so mate, you could sit in the classroom and see the waves pumping, guys getting barreled. Oh yeah, I kid you not, mate. I kid you not. They've knocked it down now. There's all apartments there, but mate, geez, we had a breeding ground for surfers here, mate. And honestly, I rarely went to school, mate. And then when we did, we turned up late, and we try and make up all the excuses. Little did we know, we hadn't washed off. We got salt in our eyebrows.
Sand coming out of your shorts.
Oh yeah, mate. The teachers, mate, you couldn't pull the wool over their eyes, even though you tried. You know what I mean? And and then we might have a double period, like one before lunch and one after, and the whole thing was, we won't go there. So we'd rush down and go surfing, and we would put rash shirts over our head and run through Maroubra Bay because the teachers are down there having lunch and everything. And you see them looking at me, yeah. I kid you not, mate. We sprint down and you know what I mean? We duck and weave and get one or two of the last classes in. You know what I mean? But yeah, there was plenty of surfing to be had, mate.
Well, let's talk about that. So, I mean, how successful was your surfing? Could it have been, or did it become a professional thing?
Well, mate, to be honest, I was more of a big wave surfer back in the day. You know, like I always travelled the world pretty much by myself, mate. But I knew a lot of people. From going to Bali as a young kid, you kind of, you know, you've seen the same people. Then I just started from Bali, you know, then I went to America and Hawaii, obviously, and stuff. And I just knew, and for some reason, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I chased it and I chased it. And look, I used to get all my free boards and wetsuits and clothes and everything was for free for me, you know. So it was good. So I was, mate, I was living good and I was living comfortable. But did it become an obsession? You know what I mean? I just loved the thrill of big waves, mate. Like I'd go anywhere.
Yeah, right.
I'd go anywhere and do this. But I tell you what, in all honesty, mate, the guys these days that are surfing these places like in Nazaré, Portugal, mate, that there is just another level these days. But that's just, mate, that is just honestly like. It's just another level. Like I honestly, I surfed some big waves. I really did. I've got a lot of photos here to prove that too. You know.
What's the biggest wave? What's the biggest? And I know you've had double page spreads in some of these surfing magazines and all of that. But what is there a wave you recall that monsters over the rest?
Mate, there's one. See, it's funny because when you paddle for a wave or you're getting towed in for a wave, you know it's big. Like you know it is. But when it actually hits the reef and it jacks up, until you come in and someone's videoed or I've taken a photo, you're like, Jesus, that was that big, mate. I honestly reckon that you do. You kind of just you sit back and go, Jesus Christ,
wow.
Fair income, you know, because like when you take on, you're concentrating on going down the wave and making the wave and getting around it, whatever it may be, mate. So you're not standing there looking behind you. You know what I mean?
To see how big it is, yeah.
And seeing how big it is and looking at the face, you know it's big. You do know that, but yeah, mate. So there's a couple of waves that I've got, mate. 25, 30 feet.
Wow.
Easy, mate. Yeah, easy. That's over in Hawaii and a couple of other little spots. And there's another place down it's called Puerto Escondido in Mexico. Got a couple of monsters there, mate. Couple of 18, 20 foot, mate. Yeah, a couple of big boys there, mate. You know, you're riding 9-foot boards, nearly 10-foot boards and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, it goes beyond just being a good surfer. That there has to be that element of bravery, of having no fear. Would those be the sorts of, you know, things that you have?
Yeah, well, absolutely. You know, you don't want to big note yourself, do you, mate? You don't want to come across as being arrogant or anything like that. But, mate, you do have to have that. Look, I say this in a lot of things in life. You just don't wake up one day and just go, well, I'm going to be this, you know, unless you have worked hard to get there. You know, like, you know, mate, like the average guy here, mate, he ain't going to paddle out at 25, 30 foot at Waimea. That just doesn't happen.
That's not happening for me, I'll tell you that.
Well, you got to have a little bit of a mental aspect about it. You know, you've got to be a little bit touch crazy, you know, and yeah, you got to be brave, and you've also got to be calm under situations.
Sure.
You know, you see these come. See, there's no point panicking and getting ahead of yourself, and you know, rah. You just really you got to be calm, because otherwise you use all your oxygen and you stress yourself out, and you're out of breath before. Mate, you know, sometimes you're getting a 2-wave hold down.
Well, I wanted to ask you that. Was there ever a time in the ocean where you did fear for your life?
Oh, mate, there's been a couple of times. You know what the funny thing is, you know, it wasn't this one particular time, right? Well, there's actually two, and it wasn't on the biggest days that I've surfed. Like, I surfed this one day at sunset. What it was just an awkward situation. It was really big. There was a few closeouts, you know. It had the big north with a couple of big west peaks coming through and everything. But what I'd done was I wore a pair of board shorts out, and I wore like a wetsuit top. Like, I had a long sleeve rash suit top, right? And I took off on this wave, and it kind of just bounced me, mate, right? And it bounced, and it threw me off. What had happened was my wetsuit top had ripped up over my head and my arms, but it hadn't fully come off, so it was stuck around my neck. So I just got manhandled, mate, you know? Right. So, and I couldn't actually get it off because my two arms were stuck in the rash shirt too. So it had come up over my head, my arm. So I just got washed around, right, mate? It was like just as I got up, right? Bam! The next wave hit me. Like, I barely got a breath, mate. You know, we're talking 15, 18 foot here. That was big. It was big. Yeah. And it was, like I said, it was just an awkward situation. Mate, you can have this situation probably happening to you in a 4 to 6, maybe 8 to 10 foot day. You know, it was quite big, and it just. I couldn't get the rash shirt off. Well, it eventually ripped off. You know what I mean? And I promise you, since that day, in big surf, I have never worn a rash shirt top ever since, like a wedding rash top. Now. Never, mate. It scarred me.
I bet.
It really did. And like, I've had a couple of big days where I've been smashed at Mexican pipeline there. That's called Puerto Escondido. There's one time there I just got manhandled. I didn't have a leg rope. A lot of people, they don't wear leg ropes there because you're quite close to shore and stuff. And right. I did, mate. It was like a solid 15 foot this day. And I've actually got a couple of photos here. And it's really, really big. And I just got caught one of those mushroom rips. And I was on the rights were hitting me, bang, bang. So I kind of got sucked over to the left. And as I got over there, the left started hitting me. You know, like the left set. So And I got myself in the middle of the rip, and I got sucked all the way out, because that's what you got to do, and then you can come around. And by that time, I was exhausted. I waved my hand, and a couple of boys that were surfing right down there, they spotted me and paddled up. You know, so mate, you just
wow.
Mate, I guarantee you speak to any big wave surfer, and they've all had
those
the same
moments, haven't they?
Oh, mate. Yeah, you do. And then, you know, you could surf the biggest day ever, mate, that you've ever had. You know, I remember surfing like at Waimea, mate. It was 25, 30 foot. Mate, there was a few closeouts. And, mate, I was sweet. Mate, I was just, you know, I got a couple of big bombs. I was happy. I was content. I made it in. I came in, and I was just like, yes. But that was beautiful, mate. And it never rattled me. There was big days where, you know, don't get me wrong, your heart was in your mouth. But then I have like a 15 to 18 foot day here at sunset that rat shirt gets ripped off over your head, your wetsuit top, and, you know, you just get manhandled, and you're kind of going, wow. I come in, I was a bit shook up, mate.
Oh, I bet you were. I want to change tact a little bit. Now, growing up in Maroubra, obviously a talented surfer, you didn't have a lot of time for school. It's well documented, the Bra Boys. Now, it sounds like you fit that mould perfectly. Did you have much to do with the Bra Boys?
Oh, look, mate, I'm born and bred in this area, mate. Yeah, I do. I don't have a Bra Boy tattoo. You know what I mean? I just think, I'll tell you straight up, mate, there's a lot of imposters there, mate. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Fuck, a lot of good soldiers, mate. A lot of good boys, you know what I mean? But I just, you know, I never, like I said, I know every single one of them. You know what I mean? And like I said, mate, there's a lot of imposters, mate. And there's a lot of people that just, mate, you know, left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. So I never went down that path and got the tattoo. But, mate, I grew up with all the boys, mate. I went to Maroubra Bay here. I've surfed with them. I've travelled the world with them, mate. You know, I just didn't like how they went, mate. For me, when you're solidarity is very important and loyalty, mate. You gotta be. It's one in all in. You know what I mean, mate? That's how I am, and I don't feel that's what a lot of them bring.
Well, when you say that, one in, all in, and you just said there's a lot of good soldiers there, as an outsider looking in, someone that was never involved in the surfing culture, explain that to me. When you say these guys are soldiers, what exactly are they fighting?
Oh, well, look, it's just a term that you use, you know what I mean? Like I said, there's a lot of boys, if you're in trouble or something, mate, they're there. They're there to help you. That's what I mean by soldiers, you know what I mean? Fucking bomb. It's not like you use them as soldiers, mate. We're going to war or whatever it may be. But in the terminology that we use is, mate, if something's wrong, mate, they're there for you, mate. They've got your back.
Would you say, I mean, that the Bra Boys doco came out, well, a good 15 years ago now. Have things changed since that time, would you say?
Oh, absolutely, mate. It's changed dramatically here now, mate, especially me being away, gone for 10 years. You come out, you know what I mean? It's, look.
Have they changed for the better or the worse, would you say?
Oh, look, you know what I noticed now? A lot of the boys are all working, which is good. I like it, including myself, mate. Like, I work 6 days a week. You know what I mean? And I absolutely love it. Before that, I never worked a day in my life. It actually gives you structure. It actually really gives you structure, and it gives you and you get the concept of the earning your money. Like, you know, you just don't go blow it and piss it up, and, you know, you're just very careful what you do with it, mate. Because, mate, you work your ass off these days.
Well, let's talk about that, Wayne, because there was a time where you didn't necessarily earn your money the way that you're referring to. You were smuggling drugs overseas and making quite a deal of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars from what I've seen from some of your other videos. Mate, where did that criminal world start for you? Just how old were you?
Mate, you know, it was back in the day. I just had a little zest for living life on the edge, you know. I always did little naughty things, you know what I mean. And I just remember this one day, and I heard my parents, and it was my mum's boyfriend and my mum. They'd been together for long, and they're arguing over bread and milk, mate. Like, there was just no fucking money. Like, I just went, you know what? And in my head, I still remember. I can picture this like it's yesterday. I still remember in my head sitting there, going, I will never live my life like this. I will never, ever live my life like this. Like, mate, not even be able to afford to get bread and milk. Like, arguing, get the coins out, mate. You're going for, mate. You're serious, mate. I'm just, mate. Like, her partner's, she's a stay-at-home mum. He's working his ass off, mate. He's not getting home till 6 at night. He's gone before we get up and go to school, mate. Like, mate, it was just a struggle, mate. You know, but no, don't get me wrong. Mate, people still do it today, mate. I wasn't the only one, mate. There's a lot of families out there, but I just said to myself, and so I've always been a go-getter. I've always been a go-getter, and mate, look, something popped up a long, long time ago, and mate, and I had the dash to do it. So, mate, I just went, fucking, this is good. And then, mate, once I did it once, mate, it was just, mate,
What does that mean? Something popped up long ago. What exactly popped up for you?
Well, like someone offered me a little something. He goes, well, mate, would you like to take this from here to here, round the main, and we'll give you some money? And I didn't even, you know what, mate, Matt, I didn't even think fucking twice. I went, yes, I'm 100%, right?
How old were you then, mate?
Mate, I was overseas. I reckon I would have been 19, 20.
Okay, so still pretty young, right?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'd say 19. But before that, I was always up to a little something like this. But I wasn't like, it wasn't important drugs or nothing at this stage. Oh. And someone offered me to move this from one part of the States to this. I'm in America at this stage, so I've gone from moving this to the States to flying it over to one of these islands. I said, mate, 100%, I'm on. So I didn't even think twice about it. Then his older brother stepped in because mate, they treated me like their son. He stepped in and said, "No, mate, you're not doing it." I said, "No, I'm coming." He goes, "You're not doing it, mate." He goes, "As simple as that, you're not doing it." So the older brother, because the older brother had a son pretty much similar age as me, and he just stepped in and said, "Mate, you're not doing it," and just flat out. Just, and I even went, but I'm not going to mention names, so I'm not going to do that here. And then, because I love it, mate. These guys are my family over there, and so I went around.
But why didn't he want you to do it, Wayne?
Because he cared for me.
He didn't want to see you potentially get caught.
Well, that's exactly right. So he, because I was still pretty young and just full of gung-ho, you know what I mean? And so he said, no. So I even went to the younger brother, no, I'm sweet, I'll do it. He goes, mate, he says, no, mate, it's no. I go, all right then, you know what I mean? And then so what happened was, after that, I did like a little bit of running around, a little bit of pot over there and rah, and I come back to Australia and kind of thought about this little, you know what I mean? Because I know it's big money, and you hear this and you hear these numbers flying around. I went, fucking, I know all these people overseas. I can do this. So I come up with this little scam of mine, which eventually got me 16 with a 10.
Now that was the sentence you've just finished, is that right?
Yes.
Well, 6 months ago. Okay,
yes.
But there's a good, 20 years between the first time that your mates told you not to do it versus when you went away for 10 years.
Yeah.
What was the majority of that time doing? Because you did do quite a lot of runs with drugs, didn't you?
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah, there's no down about that. Oh, I don't mind talking about that because they know, the feds know everything about that. They backtrack you. So look, after that little incident, so I kicked off and I started doing what I was doing. So, and it was going good, mate. So I was, flying around the world. I was doing anything and everything that I wanted to do. It was fantastic. So then back in August 2nd, I still remember because it was 2 days after my birthday. Some people, I was doing my thing, and then these other people I knew, they were bringing coke into the country themselves. Mate, I'm going to mention some names because they're full blown police informers. So I don't mind mentioning these people's names, because his name's Natal Michael Gabriel. So they were bringing their shit in, and I got it. Well, he got caught. So he'd already got caught before he passed, was allegedly passed the drugs to me. This is the 2nd of August, 1994. So he's already been caught at the airport, and like he's gone, yeah, I'm willing to give the drugs to the bloke who's meant to go to and everything like that. Well, I wasn't even meant to be the guy. I was just an scapegoat at this one, right? So they end up grabbing me. I end up sitting in jail for fucking months here, right? I end up getting bail after that, right? This is 1994.
This is in Australia?
And, this is in Australia by this stage, mate. So I'm back in Australia. And so I go to jail. I get out on bail. Got all the conditions reporting and everything like that. Then come 1997, it was 3.5 kilos. And so obviously I've got my little thing that I'm doing. So that's kind of been put on the back burner. These guys were just walking it through at this stage. You know what I mean? And they'd done it. And I was grabbing a little bit here and there, but I wasn't as, I wasn't going as big compared to like, as you grow a bit more, you get a lot more confident. So I was, and anyway, so I get caught in '94. I go to jail. I come out, and we go to trial in 1997. So in 1997, it all comes out, mate. I was just more or less of a scapegoat for these guys. And what happens is, because they police informed me, instead of them getting 7 years, they got 3.5 years because they got 50% of their sentence.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they told them about that you were involved.
Yes. So they raided my house. They pulled up, mate. They found a little bit of fucking coke, mate. Maybe a gram there. Well, apparently it didn't even match the shit that they had to my stuff. You know what I mean? It was
right.
like my stuff that I had was for more purity than what they had, because you got your analysts to do all these things and everything like that. So yeah, mate, and so it wasn't even it. So my barrister just had a field day. It was just a 6-week trial that just cost everybody a fortune, and actually yielded no result apart from him and his couple of mates who he was with or whatever went to jail, and they did, like, one guy did 2 years, he did 3.5, and then the other guy escaped back to America or whatever, and they were all dobbing on each other and stuff like that, So yeah, mate. So that was like my little building block from going back then.
Well, then tell me, Wayne, when did it get, and as I said, watching some of your other videos, it did get quite significant, this drug smuggling. At times you would have kilos upon kilos of cocaine taped to your body as you flew overseas. Just how major did it get?
Oh, mate, good, mate. It was my major income, really, when you look at it. You know what I mean? Like, you're picking up stuff, right? I don't mind talking about this because I just, like I said, I don't do staying, but I don't mind talking because I've been sentenced and punished, and everybody knows, mate. Like, mate, you're picking up kilos for 16,000, 18,000 US, mate. You're coming back here and selling them for 200. Like, anybody who does their maths, like, if you're onto a winner, mate, when do you stop? Like, you don't stop until you get caught. You know what I mean? It's like you got 4 brand new tyres on the car. You're not just going to go one day, wake up, and just go change that tyre just for the sake of it. It just doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
So you would bring the drugs over, as you say, a couple of kilos, you however much, 16,000 plus. You would then sell them in Australia, or would you pass them on to someone else to sell?
I pretty much overseen everything. That's why I got the sentence I did, because they classified me as the principal. Then the guy below me, he got 6.5 years. So principals always get me. So I was the one that orchestrated and manufactured the whole system, you know what I mean? And so I would get it, and then I would just pass it on to people, and then they would do what they do. They obviously get it, break it down, and pass it on, So really, I consider myself as the wholesaler, mate. I'd get it all, boom, and just cut and give it to them, and they do whatever they did with it.
Okay, but from that first time, way back when you were 19 or 20, through till when you got the 10-year sentence, there's close to 20 years there. Is it fair to say that for that 20 years, this was the majority of quote unquote work that you were doing?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it was. No. Obviously, I got in a little trouble here. I got busted with a gun in the cross in 1998. I remember that. I just beat the trial in '97. Mate, I went away and ran amok for a few months. I come back, and then there was an altercation up there with these people, and mate, I ended up pulling the gun and whacking this guy in the head. He fucking ran and got the coppers, and so all of a sudden, mate, I've just beat this trial, mate. Just stupidity shit, mate. I should have just walked, mate, been a bigger person, but at that stage, mate, your balls are all full of testosterone. You're untouchable, and so anyway, the feds grab it. They find this gun, and so I go back to court. I can't travel. I'm just going, what the fuck am I doing? And so like, I'm in trouble in '98. Then I go, and then what happens is, this is '98. So I go, and then they find me guilty. So they gave me a 5-year suspended sentence back then. So they gave me a 5-year suspended sentence. So what I did was, mate, I just pissed off straight away. So what I would do, mate, it's the old saying, out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? Like, if people don't see you, mate, but people get jealous, mate. People just get jealous. Mate, some of them, the people you've known for your whole life, they just get jealous, unfortunately.
What are they jealous of?
Oh, what do you think, mate? They work 6 days a week, mate. You're living in a house on top of the hill. You're going. Your kids are going to private schools, mate. You're going on the best holidays you could possibly imagine. But do you think they were dirty when I was doing 10 years? You know what I mean?
They weren't jealous of that.
You know what I'm saying? yeah, but sure, they weren't jealous of that, mate. I'm guaranteeing to you. You know what I mean? They'll have a little stab in here and there, and you're sitting in there 10 good, mate. I heard some of the boys go, oh, mate, he's been doing it for 15, 20 years. He's been, well, shit happens. And, mate, that's it, mate. I copped that, mate. I owned every little bit, mate. Every little bit, mate. I fucked up. I did the wrong thing, mate. And now, I'm a better person for the experience, I should say.
All right. Well, this is when I want to ask then, over that 20 or so years of however many drugs you brought into this country and all the ups and downs that went with that, what are, if any, the biggest regrets you have from that time?
Well, I'll tell you right now, mate, I've lost my kids at the moment. Mate, they're just... Mate, you know what I mean? I'm still trying to reconcile with them, and I talked to them. Everything was fantastic until I got out. Right? These are the big pictures, like I said, mate. And like I said this on YouTube, like you don't see the aftermath, mate. You know what I mean? Like when shit hits the wall, mate, people are just running, mate. They're running for their hills, mate. I'm out of here, mate. I don't want a part of this. And even though everyone was reaping the benefits. Mate, when shit goes fucking south, your true friends really stand up. They really do, mate. And the repercussions they're quite harsh. You lose everything, mate. You come out. It's what happens is right now everything's simplified for me. I know who I can lean on and who I just go. How are you, mate? Yeah, good to see you, and off I go. Mate, there's just they've had no time for you in the whole 10 years that you've been away, mate. I'm not rude. They've never been there, and they will never be there, so they don't really know what it's like, mate. And there's no disrespect because they've done nothing wrong. But, mate, you just give them how are you? Yeah, good to see you, and you just move on, mate. You know what I mean? And at the moment, I'm just trying to reconnect with my girls.
Well, where's that at, mate? Are you able to see them at all at the moment?
Mate, no, not at all, mate. When I first come out, I was be able to see them and that because I've got a new partner now, so I've moved on. But my life is so simple. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't take drugs, mate. This September will be 8 years since I've had anything, right? Like smokes or drugs or whatever, right? Okay. It'll be 11 years this June since I've had a drop of alcohol. And so I've had absolutely nothing, mate.
It's not to say that sort of stuff's not in prison because it is, right?
100%, mate. All day, every day, mate. Mate, people have got their wonder ways, and that's just how it is, But mate, it does, mate. I can go to the pub now with all the boys, kick back and have a drink and a feed, and carry on and have a fun, good giggle, mate. See, let I'm out of here and go. I don't really get those temptations. I've been there and done it. I've been there and done. And you know what? The boys like, oh, you want to drink, mate? You want, here and there. I go, mate. No one. Everyone knows where, but no one offers me nothing. That's the respect, that I've got, and I appreciate my mates that are like that, mate. They do their thing. Well, mate, I don't sit there and judge, mate. I just do my thing, and I'm quite happy. You
mentioned. Let me change the chapter a little bit. You mentioned a couple of times now that the money was a big motivator for you. Obviously, anyone that works 9 to 5 is never going to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars, from one project that they do. Do you miss the money now that you don't have it?
Mate, with comes money comes headaches. Mate, I work now, and I don't have to be careful what I say over the phones. I don't care if I see who I bump into. Because I don't do nothing. But when you're doing shit, right, mate, you're constantly on guard, mate. You fucking got to be careful who you talk to. You got to be careful what you say on the phones, mate. What happens if I get caught seen with this bloke, mate? None of that, mate. None of that. I live rent free in my head. I live rent free because I don't do nothing anymore. I don't have any of those little worries anymore. You know what I mean? But and saying that, the money. With the money, like I said, there comes headaches, mate. When I had all that money and I was living the way it was, mate, I was partying like a rock star, and I was an unfaithful partner to my ex-missus who she went through fucking hell too, mate. You know what I mean? Like, it was just unnecessary shit. But this is what it's taken for me to come out here and realise what I had, right? That did I really need that? Did I need the big house on top of the hill? The kids going to the private school? Did I really need, mate? The simplest things, mate, like just walking the beach now, feeling the sand on my toes, on my feet, like walking in the water, going for a surf, mate. What about just walking across the road and getting a coffee?
That's right.
Mate, what about
Simple
running down
things.
the shop at 9 o'clock at Woolies and grabbing the Ben and Jerry's ice cream, mate? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I like your style, mate.
Mate, you know what? But seriously, mate, you just, mate, until the rug's ripped out from underneath you, you just don't know what you had. Like I've never been an ungrateful person or anything like that by any means. And everyone you speak to will say that, you know. And but I'm just, these days, I am so grateful for everything. Like everything. I'm grateful to just wake up in the morning. I'm grateful I've got a job right now. Like I'm scaffolding, you know what I mean? I've got an unbelievable boss. We've got Confit up and running, but that's on pause, obviously, because we can't have everyone training. So it's like your one-on-one training and things like that. So,
Of course.
mate, I'm just grateful for everything.
Well, I want to talk to you about Confit, but before I do, I'd like to ask Wayne Cleveland now, nearly at 50. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Wayne. You still look good.
Nah, mate, mate. Next year I'm 50, mate. I'm glad. I'm glad I can make it.
Exactly. But where you are in life now, if you had some advice for Wayne Cleveland when he was that 18, 19-year-old about to embark on this world of crime and drug smuggling and all of that, what would your advice be to that teenager now?
Mate, quit while you're ahead. If you have the balls and the audacity to do these type of things, mate, you just got to realise, mate, you got to realise the outcome in the end. You know, mate, if you can get in and get out, brilliant. But it doesn't really work like that. So what would I say to myself? If I was still going down that path, I'd say to myself, get in and get out. But then, if I was to say to myself now, going legit, I look at my friends now, right? The guys who have worked legit their whole life. Mate, they have exactly what I had 10 years ago. Mate, they got that big fucking houses, mate. They're going on their holidays. They're doing, mate, you can work legitimately. You can work. I made a mindset. You put your head down, you work 6 days a week for 10 years, mate. I'm telling you now, you could have achieved the same thing.
Without having to look over your shoulder or be careful who you spoke to on the
mate.
phone and all of that.
Exactly, mate. And you know what I said? I said, but where's the thrill in that? He goes, what about this, mate? He goes, if you're looking, you're such a life on the edge. He goes, mate, start jumping out of aeroplanes, mate. Start doing these. You know what I'm saying? He goes, start doing some things to get your thrill on land like you do in the surf. That's what he said to me. You know what I mean? I said, too true, mate. Too true. He goes, mate. He goes, you can achieve this. And it wasn't just him, but I had another friend come from the side and a couple of people go, mate, if you can channel what you know and what you do in something legit, he goes, mate, I guarantee you can have the fucking house on the hill, mate. You can have this, you have your little holidays. Your kids can still be going to private school. He goes, look at me. He goes, I've got exactly what you got. He goes, but I channel my energy into my business here.
Well, you'd still be seeing the kids too, wouldn't you?
Well, that's right. I'd see my kids grow up, even though they'll visit me all the time and they're always there. But just to see, mate, like I had a day leave, right? A day leave, and it might have been a weekend leave. I'm not too sure, but I'm sorry, mate. I'll get that. So what happened was I've gone down to my brother's house, and he's got a little girl and a little boy, right? Harper and Jet. And I'm sitting there, mate, and my daughters have turned up. Well, my middle daughter, my youngest daughter, and my eldest daughter is on her way down, right? And I'm sitting there, at the thing, and I'm talking, like, and my middle daughter's sitting on my lap, and I'm looking at Jet and Harper, but I start crying. And my daughter looks at me and goes, what's wrong, Dad? I said, this is the age that you and Hawana were when I went to jail. I said, have a look at them. This is you guys 10 years ago. And she went, seriously, Dad? And I said, mate, look at you now. She's like a beautiful lady. Oh, the girls are gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful. I'm not just saying that because they're my daughters, mate. But they got hair down past their ass, and everyone tells me, mate, oh my God, Wayne, you're gonna have a headache with these girls.
The joys of being a dad to girls, eh?
Yeah, and I just you don't realise, like, look, I've missed all that part. I can never get that back.
That must be the biggest regret, it sounds like.
Oh, mate, 100%. I'm telling you now, 100%. You just, like the old Wayne telling the young Wayne, mate, get an apprenticeship, knuckle the fuck down. You can do what you can do it legitimately. It can be done. A lot of people friggin' do it, and you still get the love of your kids, and you see them grow up.
Well said.
I jokingly say to the boys that are all like have done really well for themselves, I said, you know what, boys? I said, I peaked too early in my career. We have a little chuckle, you know what I mean? Because I did everything, had the houses, I had everything, mate. But now it's all taken away, and I've got nothing. I said, I had it all, and I had nothing, had it all, and then now I've got nothing. But you know what? I've got a beautiful support network. I've got an absolutely beautiful missus who's just absolutely amazing, and and I've got good friends around me with loyal support.
And you're now doing this fitness program called ConFit. Yes, I'm assuming you're helping people that have also come out of the criminal system or out of the prison system to not just get a bit fitter, but also to maybe get their life in order as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So that's the whole thing. We're trying to reintegrate them back into society and not lead down the old path. And like, they'll come down and they'll ask me, what works for you? I said, mate, what works for me is me. I said, you have to want it. When somebody gets pushed into doing something, it's not really for them. It's for the person who's pushing them to do it. You know what I mean? So you go in half-heartedly. I said, mate, but you have to want this. You have to want it, you know what I mean? And I want this. I think,
Wayne, if I can jump in, because I've chatted to enough people on this show that have been through the prison system, and a lot of the time, it's all good and well to say they need to want it, but sometimes you don't necessarily know what it is to want, because you've never had that role model in your life. All you've had is people that aren't the ideal role model, and therefore you don't have an awareness of wanting other things. Do you think that'd be fair to say?
Oh, absolutely, because you don't know. It's the unknown, isn't it? If you don't know and you've never wanted, you know what I mean? Because you've never had, like you said, role models or anything like that. You've never had that. Surely everybody must have a role model, mate, but not like a good role model, I should say. Sure, but even like people who listen, like bad people who listen to like a good music, wouldn't, you know what I mean? Music or there's got to be some outlet somewhere. You would think. See, what do you think, mate? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because I had a good upbringing, mate. My parents never involved in nothing. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely nothing. My dad, mate, my dad, he's so loyal, mate. He used to visit me friggin' every weekend, mate. He'd be bringing my kids up to Cessnock, and, you know, like, mate, that guy's never touched a drug in his life. Like, it's just funny how...
That would have been hard on him, having you in jail for so long.
Oh, mate, absolutely. You know, absolutely. Not only that, but when you go down the pub and you get pinched like I did, it was, yes, like, mate, national news, mate. Like, even my mates in bloody WA were hearing it on the news and stuff and start ringing, and mate, Queensland, overseas, in New Zealand, mate, everyone, even in the States, mate, they were ringing. And my dad's got to go down to the club where he drinks at, and he's got to sit there, and everybody knows that his son has just imported drugs. He's just been busted. You know what I mean? So he's copped a bit of flack too. Have you had a chat to your old man about that? Yeah. And then he just went, "Mate, how people are these days." And like I've told him straight up, mate. You all know who my son is, mate. He goes, that's not a reflection on me. He's gone down that path. You all guys know me, so if you want to sit here and drink or whatever, mate, by all means, mate. And they all stood staunch. because that's why I'm no reflection on my dad. Like what I did, it should not bear on him. You know what I'm saying there? Because he didn't do no wrong. He never brought me up like this. And it's the same with my three girls that went to school. And I got a stepson too that I raised since he was 2 years old, mate. He hasn't spoken to a word to me when he turned 18. Mate, he hasn't said a word, mate. But like these kids cop so much grief at school, mate, from other kids of being, oh yeah, your dad's in jail, mate. Mate. They all copped it, every single one of them, you know what I mean? And like you don't see that. Like, you know, mate, I'm a big boy. I cop the consequences, mate. I was sitting there, but it's the family, mate, the kids.
There's a big ripple effect, isn't there?
Oh, mate, massive, mate. It's like you said, you throw that little pebble in the pond, and then just the ripples you see go right across the whole pond, mate. You see it rippling, mate, and you don't see it until the kids come in. You got to sit down and talk to them and you calm them down, and like it's just sad, mate. You know, on their behalf, mate. That's what breaks my heart, mate. It does.
And they're just kids too. I mean, they don't really know how to process it like adults do.
Mate, what do you think my kids knew what I was doing? Of course not, mate. You don't even tell your best friends what you're doing. It's a business where you don't let anybody know what you're doing. You know, obviously, where'd you go? The people know, mate, this bloke doesn't work. He's got a house on there, your holiday, mate. He's up to no good. But you know, no one needs to know, mate. And your poor kids of all, they don't need to know this, mate. You know what I mean? They're babies, you know. Like even my ex, mate. You don't say nothing. They don't need to know. Your left hand doesn't even know what your right hand's doing when you're in that type of business. It doesn't, you know. But then you hear because I got taken in front of my kids, so we had to be brutally honest and open, because the last thing that we wanted to do was my kids go to the school that they were going to, right, and then just all the other kids, all the other families, and then and all the other kids know. So if anybody said something, any other kid said something, my kids can turn around and, yeah, I know what my dad's in jail for. Yep, I know. So you know what I mean? So they have to be aware of that, because you don't want them to come up, oh, well, they're saying this and they're saying that. There was a massive sit down. My ex told me, and they all sat down with like her mother, and everybody was there, and they all sat down and just had a massive talk with the kids, and just laid out so they couldn't be hit from the side.
Mate, I certainly appreciate the chat today. You've been extremely honest, and I appreciate that, and I'm sure the listeners do as well. As we start to wrap it up, I put out a post on social media last night letting people know that I was chatting to someone that had been a former drug smuggler, and that you had done the time, and you know everything was square as far as you know the powers that be were concerned.
Yes.
But I went on to ask people. I said, do you think that you'd like to hear from this person and let him share his story, or do you think that he should not be given a public platform to speak? Now, there was lots of comments, but there was over 50 people that responded, and 90% said yes, you should be allowed to share your story. They were quite interested in it. There was also that minority that said no, you shouldn't be allowed to share, and you know, in some ways glorify, and I'm not saying that's what you've done today, because I don't think you have, but in some ways glorify what had happened. My question is, have you experienced that? Have you experienced people that have come up to you since you've got out and given you a piece of their mind?
No, not really. I haven't, mate. I haven't. You know why? Because I've done a complete 180 in my life. Even my brother Taylor said to me, he goes, mate, because I can't believe that you've just done a complete 180. No one's come up there and given me a piece of their mind and anything like that, because everyone who knows me here, mate, they see the change that's happened to me. They see it. Mate, I'm not down on the pub anymore.